8, ways to find unknown lengths, part 2. We've done the math warm up, and so now we're on 127. Unknown lengths. Here are 4 shapes. Each shape, this is important, has a perimeter of 64 inches. P R and S each have 1 line of symmetry. Q has 4 lines of symmetry. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and draw the lines of symmetry. So for P, that's an isosceles triangle, so we're going to have a line of symmetry that splits it right down the middle. Q is the one that has 4 lines of symmetry. It has them from vertex to vertex, and vertex to vertex. Then it would also have them from side to side and from side to side. No, so Chevy, when you have, it's a little bit hard to see because when you have, it looks like 8 kind of right now. But the lines go all the way across. So here's my square, right? So let's keep track of the colors. So we've got a green one, a purple one, a pinkish one, and a blue one. Can you see the 4 now? Yes, for sure. Yes, it definitely does make it clearer that there's not 8 lines here, because it kind of, what he was meaning, guys, is he was saying this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but was only looking at like the half lines, because when you start cutting them into, or when you start crossing them, they look like 8 little lines instead of 4 lines that go across them. Okay, so there is 4 there. R has 1 that goes from vertex to side, so right down the middle. S also just has 1 and it goes from corner to corner, vertex to vertex. Okay, so now that we have those lines of symmetry down, we can use them to fill in what we know, okay? So we know that 26 and, or that the bottom of that triangle is 26, right? Since the top is 26, the bottom is 26. What we don't know is the, right side. We can figure it out though if we know the perimeter. So if we know that this triangle all together equals 64, and we know this is 26 inches, and this is 26 inches, and that when you add 26 plus 26 plus something, you get 64, right? So this is where algebra comes in. So how do you find out what's missing? Corbin? What would you do first?
So you add the 26 to the 26 and then find out what
The difference
the difference is.
between these two and 64, right?
Well, I was going to say you can add 26 to 26 and then whatever you get, you can minus what?
Minus it from 64. That's exactly right. So if we go 26 plus 26, 6 and 6 is 12. Put down the 2, carry the 1, you get 52. And if we come over here and do 64 minus 52, that gives us 12, right? So our missing bottom, or I guess left side, is 12. See how I did that? It's just finding one of the missing values. Okay, on the square, they didn't give us any numbers. All they did was say, these 4 sides add up to 64. But with a square, what do you know about those sides? Ariana?
They're all the same.
They're all the same length, right? So, that means all we have to do is by 4 sides. So 64 divided by 4. I know that 4 times 10 is 40, and so I can take that away and get 24. And I know that 4 times 6 is 24, so I can take that away and get 0. What's 10 plus 6? 16. So the answer, all 4 of these sides equal 16. Because 16 times 4 equals 64. And we can check that real quick and make sure. And it sure does equal 64. Okay. Now, because this is a line of symmetry, what is this side right here? Rylan? If you fold it right here, what's going to line up with this side?
9.5.
9.5. Does that make sense? Okay, so this is 9.5. What we don't know is these two. Okay? So, how could we figure out what those two sides are? Caitlin, what do you think?
So first thing you'll do is you'll 9.5, 9.5, and 13 up,
Uh-huh.
and then you'll subtract whatever you get from 64,
Uh-huh.
and then you split the answer from that in half.
Yes. Yes, because it's shared, right? That's exactly right. Add these together. Whatever you get, take it away from 64. And that gives us the answer that these two split. So we cut it in half, and that's our answer. Okay, so 9.5 and 9.5. And I know 1/2 and 1/2 is a whole, so that would be 19. And then plus 13 more is going to be 32, right? And so if I take away 32 from 64, I get 32. So that means this side plus this side equals 32. And what is half of 32, Rylan?
16.
16. So that means that this is 16 and this is 16. Okay. On the last figure, if we folded this in half right here, what side would end up right on top of this? Olivia? 10.5. So this side is going to line up with this side. So that would be 10.5. And then what's going to land on top of this side? Emily? No, what's going to land on top of it? So if I folded this figure, I'm trying to figure out what this side right here, the length is. So if I folded this right here, what's going to land on top of this? 7.5. That's right. So that means that 7.5 is that side and that side. Let me do that a little different. So this is 7.5 also. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And this side is going to land on top of this side, but we don't know either of them. So what are we going to do? What should we do? Emily?
You could add 7 and 7, and then add the two halves, because the top length, which is the side length that we just saw, that's the same length as.
We don't know that for sure, though. It looks like it, but we got to know for sure. So how can we use our math to find out for sure? Jackson? And that's just going to give me this. Keep going. What do you do after that? Okay. And then what are you going to do with your answer? Okay. And then when you have a final answer of what these 4 walls add up to be, what are you going to do with it? Yes, and then whatever answer you get, what are you going to do with that? Yes, yes. Nice job. Okay, so let's do that. We got 10 and a half plus 7 and a half. So here's a whole, here's 17 whole, so 18. And then I've got another 18, which would equal 36, right? So now I'm going to take 64 and subtract 36, and that's going to leave me with 28. So together, this wall plus this wall equals 28. What is half of 28? Chevy? Half of 28.
No.
That's the 8 part. So half of 8 is 4. What's half of 2? What's half of 2? 1. So if half of 2 is 1 and half of 8 is 4, what's half of 28?
8.
Derek? 14. So this is what I was trying to get you to do, Chevy. Half of 2 is 1, half of 8 is 4. So together, half of 28 is 14. So this wall is 14. And this wall is 14. Okay. So we've done that page. Last page. Okay. This is one of those challenging ones where you have to be very neat and very precise. And they didn't give us grid lines, so it's going to be a little more challenging. I'm going to do mine in color so you can see what I'm talking about. First thing I'm going to do, they've given us half of a figure, and we've got to complete it. So first thing I want you to do is draw the points that I just did with your pencil. Make a point here and a point here. That is the starting point for our design. Did you do that, Kelby? Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, for the purpose of showing you, I'm going to do the vertex points, but I'm going to do them in 4 different colors so that we can match up 4 different colors with the, on the flip side, on the other side of the line of symmetry. Okay, so we have, we don't have to redo these points because those are shared, because they're on the line of symmetry. Okay, stay with me, Mason. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is make the purple line, but we're gonna do it on this side of the line of symmetry. It's gotta be at the same level, okay? So, I'm gonna switch over to the document camera so you guys can watch a little bit closer how I'm gonna do this. Okay. All right. We're almost done. Stay with me because this is the challenging part. Okay. So we've got our figure here, right? And I need to make that purple point. I have to make it's going to be lined up with the purple that's on the left. I've got to make a purple on the right. So I'm going to get my purple. And it's going to be even with it. But it's got to be the same distance from the line of symmetry. So does that black dot look like it's about halfway between the 2 purples? Yes. I need to make this a little bit more even for you guys. Okay. All right. And then, so we've made our first point. Okay. Perfect. Okay. The next one we're gonna do is this light blue one. That's down at the bottom. So I need to make a light blue point, and it's got to be about the same distance from the dotted line as the other blue point. Do you see how the blue point is like right below the purple point? So we need to go right over to our purple point and make a blue dot that is under our purple dot, but in line with our blue dot. Okay, you with me?
Yep.
All right, you guys got 2 dots down now?
Yes.
Okay. It will be whenever we're done, yep. And now we're gonna go make our green dot. And our green dot is gonna be kind of far away from the line of symmetry. So we gotta use your ruler to underline where that green dot is. And we've got to make sure that the green dot, or the next dot that we do, is about the same distance from the line of symmetry. So about that far, but over here. Okay? And I think if you want to be specific and measure, it is about 4 centimeters from the line of symmetry. So if you have your centimeters side of your ruler, and I'm making a green one. And my pen died. Love it. Okay. Alright, so I'm making a green dot. And it's going to be 4 centimeters away. So it's going to be about right over here. No, I mean centimeters. The side of the ruler that goes up to 30. Okay. And then the last one that I have to make is like the orangey, reddish kind of dot. And it is going to be 5 centimeters from the line of symmetry. So it's a little bit further. And so right in here. Okay? After you have those dots down, then we start connecting. The first that we're going to connect is this bottom black dot to the blue dot. So, or to your lowest dot. And there's mine. And then we're going to go from the top black dot to the purple dot. Okay. And then if we look up here, what's the purple dot connected to? The green dot. So I'm going to connect the purple to my green, which is the very top dot. And then we've got the blue one that we need to connect to the orangey red. And then the last one that we have to connect is the orange and the green. Okay, so mine's that's a little bit too fat, which means that my blue was probably a little bit lower than it needed to be. Or my orangey was probably a little off. It probably should have been more like that. But Make sense? Okay. It's challenging, but says now it says Lynn is using 145 inches of fancy tape for the outline of a design. Here's half the design. The dashed line is a line of symmetry. We finished her design. We need to fill in the numbers now because we got to see if Lynn has enough tape for this design. Okay? So, since this is a line of symmetry, if this side is 12 3/4, this side is 2. If this side is 12 3/4, this side is 2. I'm not going to write 12 3/4, I'm going to do what they did and do an arrow. And a squiggly arrow. Now it looks like that's supposed to be there, right? Okay. And if this is 25, this is 25 inches. And if this is 6 inches, this is 6 inches. Oh, I see now why you were saying inches. The figure is measured in inches, but I was using my ruler to measure the distance from the line of symmetry in centimeters. Does that make sense? Okay. And then if this line is 19, this line is 19. Okay, got that all written down? All right. Now, we just need to add this and this and this and this and this and times it by 2. Okay? And then that will tell us if we have enough or how many inches of fancy tape she needs.
We have to add all the other side.
Nope, because it's the same thing, so we're just gonna double what we get on the one side. Okay? So 25 and 19 and 6, those are the whole numbers. And then 12 3/4 and 12 3/4. Okay? All right. So over here, I know that 9 and 5 is 14, plus 6 is 20. Carry the 2, put down the 0. 2 plus 2 plus 1 is 50 altogether. Over here, adding 3, watch what I'm going to do. How many fourths does it take to make a whole? 4. 4. I'm going to take away one of these guys, one of these 3, make it a 2, and then turn this into 4/4. Okay? Is that the same number? Absolutely. So this is like a whole, right? So I'm putting it over here. What's 12 plus 12?
24
Plus one more?
25
And 2/4. 25 and 2/4. And 2/4 is the same as what?
1/2.
1/2. So we're gonna say 50 plus 25 is 75 and a half. So we're gonna double that by adding another 75 and a half. A half plus a half is a whole. 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. Put down the 1, carry the 1. 7 and 7 is 14, 15. So altogether, this design requires a perimeter of 151 inches. Now, going back to the question, how much does she have? 145. Does she have enough? No. Lynn needs 151 inches, but she only has 145 inches. She needs 6 more inches. Yes.
Like what you had already? What you can just look at.
Yes. because remember it's a symmetrical means they're the same on both sides. So the V that they gave us, I added up all the sides of that V and got 70. Oh, you mean on this fraction thing? Yeah, because look what it started out to be 3/4 plus 3/4, right? What's 3/4 plus 3/4, Chevy? 6/4. So if I take one away from this guy and add it over here, it turns into 2/4 and 4/4. What's 2/4 plus 4/4?
Oh, no.
Does that make sense? Okay. Thanks for asking. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. See, it's fun. Took a long time. I know it's fun. All right.